Comrades, we talk to tons of experts when we write an episode here at Politically Aweh. But we only get to show you tiny bits of their great insights. So now we're letting you in on the whole thing. This is the Politically Aweh Podcast. Let's get away.
Good morning, Cynthia, and welcome to Politically Aweh. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, would you mind describing briefly your personal experience when you blew the whistle?
It's actually 8 years ago when one comes to think of it, because this happened in 2016. At the time, I did not see myself as a whistleblower. I saw myself as a person just doing her job according to our policies and procedures within our organization. So when I blew the whistle at SA was that they wanted me to do three things. One was to agree to and ratify a board resolution. The second was to add on suppliers that were not part of our list. And the third was to sign and change the scope of an existing transaction advisor that had nothing to do with sourcing funds for SA. So with that, I refused to do it. And then I reported it within our internal mechanisms and the International Treasury, because SA reported to them. And then lastly to OUTA, was an organization undoing tax abuse. The repercussions was that I lost my job. My name was blacklisted, as in my reputation made quite bad within SAA. And yes, I had to try and fight for my rights, which unfortunately ended up that the case was pushed out. And by the time we were already a year into it, my lawyers advised that I walk away, and my family agreed. And so I took a separation agreement. The good side of it was that we managed to interdict the deal and stop it. So SAA didn't pay that funding, and hence the funds were saved, that it doesn't need to be recouped.
I'm wondering if you can elaborate a little bit about what it was like personally for you on an emotional level as well, like at SAA.
Stephen, it was hard and unexpected. I knew the repercussions, but didn't expect the repercussions. Before blowing the whistle, it's never easy. I discussed with my husband, with my children, with my siblings, with my peer management group at SAA. And even them, they said, Cynthia, you're on your own. My family said, resign, walk away. And I said, but if I resign and walk away, this deal will go through. So I have to. I said, I'm not worth my salt, with my words to my family, to call myself a group treasurer. And neither can I walk away, because I would not sleep at night. And I said, I have to do it. And then the next set of questions were, if you do this, you know you lose your job. And I said, I know that. And it's unfortunately a personal risk that I need to take. So yes, but when it did happen, it was as if somebody punched me in the gut, to tell you the truth. I really didn't expect my own reaction to it. I thought I could handle it, but I couldn't. The day I received my suspension letter, I literally walked with it like this against my chest, afraid that people could read through the paper. I felt as much I was surprised that they didn't give me time to explain myself, and I was just asked to sign a suspension until further investigation. And the feelings that seeped out was actually of shame. I felt ashamed, and my thought process was, maybe I should have kept quiet. Maybe I should have stayed under the radar. Maybe I should never have challenged this, and those questions kept going through my mind until I could come back to the space. But Cynthia, you did the right thing. You had to speak up. By the duty of your job as treasurer, you have an obligation to the organization. So as I went through that thought process, I could then find some sense of calm that I did the right thing. But it still doesn't prepare you for what happens next. when I listen to many other whistleblower stories, it's difficult in that first few days. If you can't push yourself to get up and out of bed, you end up staying in it, because of the trauma, the psychological impact. What I didn't expect is for any of my team not to speak to me. They didn't speak to me, and I couldn't understand why. And realized was that an email went out from the head at the time of the CFO's office stating that I committed financial misconduct. So obviously no one's going to talk to you, and your name is tarnished, your reputation's tarnished. The other impact was when I walked away from the whole SA saga and thought, okay, it's fine. I have an MBA. I've got banking experience. I will get a job. And then you apply and you get nothing, no response, just nothing. And so then you go through the trauma again and you ask yourself, oh my word, is this ever going to end? And so, yes, it's a long, lonely journey for whistleblowers.
Would you say that there were any repercussions, threats to your personal safety?
Once I got the letter and I got home, the very next morning, I saw a car parked outside my house. So I contacted our CPF, our Community Policing Forum, and asked them, gave them the registration number. Does this belong to anyone? Is it a family member car, visiting, etc.? And my neighbors didn't know it, neither did our CPF. I was followed. I think July into August, I was followed. And during that time, I only went to 4 places. I've never associated with anyone in the political field, and neither did I know any top business people. I was just that person who just did a job, went home, saw to my family. I was very involved in my community, hence I was at church. So I realized that they stopped following me by August, probably thinking that I'm not such a threat or such a risk. Once I didn't see those cars around my house, I relaxed. Although I'm still very much aware, I don't answer calls, that I don't know the contact details. And we still, when I see a car too long behind me, I take different routes. So very much still keep the awareness.
So what do whistleblowers typically face in terms of negative consequences?
Whistleblowers suffer huge retaliation and victimization when they blow the whistle. So the first and major thing is that they lose their jobs, even though Protected Disclosures Act states no occupational detriment. And the knock-on effect is when you're not earning, you then cannot pay your bills. So people lose their homes, they lose all the assets they would have built up over time. And they also, which is not accounted for in any legislation, there's the impact of your mental health, which has a psychological impact on you. And this impact also affects the spouse of the whistleblower. It affects their children. And it's not something you can get out of very easily without some intervention through getting counseling at certain stages. And so besides that, some whistleblowers have lost their lives and given the ultimate sacrifice. Others are retaliated in many ways through attempted assassination, and others obviously through being blacklisted. One cannot even quantify how the system is not supporting whistleblowers from an holistic perspective.
What do you think it says about our society more deeply, like at a values level, that people who of integrity suffer such negative consequences? It surely should be the opposite way around.
I think because we've come out of the apartheid system previously, where people informed on others and the informers got paid for it. And those that informed were treated as impimpi, so it was a negative connotation. And I think society still sees that if you try and speak out about any issue, it is termed as you are tattletale, or you are this person who's going against the grain, and we should all be keeping quiet about it. So yes, I think society needs to start thinking differently about it if we want a more moral society. It's unfortunate as South Africa, we've come out of that history. Even for organizations, it's the reputation of that organization that it's at risk. And if they start doing the right thing, that organization like the Enrons of this world, like KPMG, the most recent, EOH, etc., if I name but a few, is that their reputation did take a dip. You could see it in their share price, the Steinhoffs, the Tongaat Hewletts. Whereas if one starts creating these spaces where you can speak out and then remedy, rather than attacking the person who spoke out, find remedies, find solutions, and fix it, then I think we can start improving how we treat whistleblowers.
But what does Whistleblower House do in a nutshell?
We support whistleblowers through 4 services. The first service is legal, because most of the cases have to go to court, and many who blow the whistle do not have the finances to pay legal fees. We've partnered with roughly 10 legal firms who have really done great work at this point in time with us. Then our second service is counseling. So we partnered with psychologists where we refer our whistleblowers for the counseling. For those whose families have been affected, like their spouses or their children, we also offer the services to them. And then the third service we offer is financial, which is a financial stipend. It's not much. It cannot replace their homes, their salaries, their cars, their assets. However, the amount, in a way, can put food on the table and provide some sort of sustenance. And then the last service is security, mainly because we've seen what has happened to those who have been assassinated, and we want to prevent this from happening to whistleblowers.
What are the current proposed solutions? What do we need to be doing?
In the State Capture Commission from Zondo, he gave quite good recommendations, which we also supporting as the Whistleblower House. And in the recent discussion document which the Department of Justice put out, we also gave comments together with many other civil societies who gave comments to it. So in a nutshell, many have recommended an agency or a Chapter 9 organization to support whistleblowers. And in that, it's like a one-stop shop where the whistleblower comes, investigations are done, legal supplied, counseling supplied, and financial, obviously, and some safety measures. The second thing is that we need to remove the stigma of whistleblowers and make the name a more positive. So maybe the name can change, like human rights defenders or something else, but in a more positive way, because whistleblowing, the term alone has negative connotations. It is also reparations. We know that the US have, they call it the qui tam, a False Claims Act, whereby they pay huge amounts out for cases where it's been litigated and won. We're not recommending that because our circumstances are different as South Africa. So what we would recommend that there is reparations made for whistleblowers who've lost everything, that a fee be paid to them so they can build their lives back and get their dignity back. So South Africa does have whistleblower protection, yet it only covers one aspect where it states the whistleblower should not suffer occupational detriment. There are no sections which cover the impact of the legal costs, the mental, and psychological impact for the whistleblower and who pays those costs, the knock-on effect of the job loss, and then the further impact of family around it. The second thing is that it also doesn't have any sanctions for the perpetrator, like the company who's doing the wrong thing or the retaliation, and they are never held to account, even if they are found to be on the wrong side of the law. You don't only look at one aspect, which was occupational detriment, but look at all the other aspects that pertains to a whistleblower, from legal support, that this is covered immediately either by the state or covered by the company. But it cannot be that the whistleblower needs to cover the legal costs. The same with the counseling, the same with that they shouldn't be losing their jobs for standing up for the truth, and that they should not be losing their lives through assassination or retaliation. What we're proposing is that a whistleblower fund be set up. It also comes out in the Zondo Commission, a whistleblower fund, and then whistleblowers apply. There's a set sum of money that can help you start building your career back or your life back, or build the assets that you lost.
So what can everyday people do while we're waiting for things to get better at that level? What can everyday people do to help whistleblowers? Is there anything you would have wanted just the average person to know and to do to help you when you're on that lonely journey?
Ordinary citizens can really help whistleblowers, I think, just to listen to them, be patient with them. Secondly, they can donate to the various civil societies who are assisting, like Whistleblower House, Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, Active Citizens Movement, Corruption Watch, OUTA. There are many of those civil societies in their way doing their bit to fight corruption and to help whistleblowers. I also have a personal idea, is adopt a whistleblower. If you're a business or an individual, you can adopt them, and it doesn't need to be money. It's just saying, check on them. Are you okay? Listen to them, and those who have extra cash can then share their cash with them, or say, what do you need this month? And I'll buy it for you. So that way we can start building the assistance around whistleblowers.
How can we encourage more people to blow the whistle when they see wrongdoing?
I would definitely like to encourage more people to speak out. And the first thing is obviously speak out safely, not to go to the media, but rather through a safe environment, through lawyers and through organizations who support whistleblowers. I always use the personal analogies. What legacy would I like to leave my grandchildren is that they are honest and that they have integrity and that they follow a moral pathway. And if we want to inculcate that in our society, it's for us as individuals to do it in our workplaces, in our communities, and wherever we are. And so, yes, we should encourage speaking out, but it needs to be done safely so that whistleblowers are protected and that it becomes the norm. Whistleblower House and all the civil society organizations we've partnered with are now putting on our websites how to blow the whistle safely. So please read that. Please, just to protect your own career, protect your own reputation, and protect your physical self. But do speak out.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. I'm really grateful for your time and honestly your bravery and commitment to truth and justice. Thank you so much.